Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, the church has spoken on this issue of structured dialogue. Raila Odinga also, yesterday, in a tour in Siaya, spoke about a conventional dialogue.
It will not change. This position has not changed. We said we want to see a new Kenya, and the people of Kenya are entitled to it. And that's why we said we agree with Gen Z.
Everybody seems to be talking about the same. The only people who are refusing to board or to buy the idea is the Gen Zs. And the Gen Zs have a strong reason why that is the case. I know there is some mixed feeling, the sharp division over whether Kenyans should talk or the government should simply implement.
We cannot show up to dialogue tables when majority of us are showing up on autopsy tables.
So I want to take you to two statements, and then I'll issue a reaction on MCOURE's take on this matter of structured dialogue, because MCOURE talked about so many things and maintained that dialogue is not something that they are even thinking about, that there is nothing to dialogue about, that everything that the government wants to listen to is out there in the public domain. So I want us to go to this very, very tough stand from the youths who are still saying that they are going to escalate their quest for justice for Kenya. So before we get there, please like this video. It's so important if you like this video, because that is the only way YouTube shares our content. And I'm so grateful for everyone who has been liking our videos. I don't take that for granted. Subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed before. And to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. KASMUEL is one of those activists. I think I heard that he now calls himself librarian. So the librarian has said that there is nothing they can sit down and talk with the government of the day. KASMUEL goes to an extent of calling this government a government of oppressor. It's an oppressor government, that we can't sit with an oppressor government. That is the position that KASMUEL is taking. Now, perhaps, if you're wondering what KASMUEL said, allow me to share this segment so that you can get to understand what MCOURE said during a citizen debate. So just watch this video.
We cannot show up to dialogue tables when majority of us are showing up on autopsy tables. It is an unfair thing for you to expect of the Kenyan youth to take this while lying down. The youth that have died, and there's no need for euphemism, they did not just die. It was not an accident. They did not die of the protests. They are victims of police brutality. We cannot show up to a dialogue table that has been organized by our oppressor.
So how do you want to organize it?
Again, we do not want dialogue. That our demands have been very simple. They do not need conversation. They only need action. If I say, for example, crack a war on graft, why do you still need to call me and ask me, what is this about? If I say, give us IDs, do not give us IDs at exorbitant fees, give us IDs at 100 shillings and we don't want them to expire. Why do we need a dialogue for that? If we say, reconstitute IEBC, we still want to call us to a table. When we say, okay, let the police not kill us. Dialogue still.
But
so, if you look at this struggle from the youths, you look at it extensively, you find that the only person who is now too vocal here, or we can say overly vocal on the push for democracy, is KASMUEL. So I don't know, is that the right way? I've seen so many arguments that Kenya has been having dialogues. You know, one of the reasons why I think RUTO could have found it pretty difficult to deal with the situation is that he wants a dialogue. Nobody is ready to dialogue with him. That is now the biggest problem that he has had to find himself in. Let's dialogue, nobody to dialogue with it. That's why you find that there's that date on Monday, I think last week, before the demonstration that took place on Tuesday, the JKIA demonstration. You know, on Monday, it was supposed to be a date for the dialogue, the much publicized dialogue. But then what happened is that there was nobody to be there for that dialogue. There was no Azimio, youths were not there, charges didn't own up, civil society didn't own up. So, in fact, even the venue was not well communicated. So, ideally, the matter was going to just fizzle out like that. So, I think that's why you find that William Ruto looked at the whole scenario and said, okay, so if this is what is happening, let me also make my move. Probably, I suspect that could be the reason why William Ruto had to bring back some of the ministers, the cabinet secretaries, some of them, he had to bring them back because I think he realized that he was not given the audience that he needed. And according to him, he said that this is like, putting me under siege. That is what, I think, that was the interpretation from the government, that maybe the GENZs were putting William Ruto under siege, and that could explain why he has had to make decisions opposite. Of course, the position by Raila Amolo Odinga is supported by some people. Some people think that is the right way, a conventional talk. And if you've been following our analysis, ladies and gentlemen, there's a time I talked about UK. There was that kind of concept, a convention was introduced there by the Labour Party. But it never worked, according to the frontiers, it never worked. So Raila thinks that that is the best thing for the nation. And he also thinks that before that is done, and I think this is why now I think he agrees, is on the same page. I think the GENZs need to listen to Raila Amolo Odinga. There's a part here he talks about, before we have the conventional talk, we must get proper justice for these people. Those who are maimed, those who are hospital bills, those people arrested, families to be compensated, that should be the first agenda. So I think if that is done, maybe that is when now the GENZs will now realize that let us now sit down and talk. But after some things have been implemented. But now that William Ruto decided to reappoint some of those people the GENZs said were very unprofessional, and Ruto has gone to an extent of even appointing some people from the opposition, I don't know how the GENZs will treat this matter, because there is public uproar over this matter. Some church leaders have denounced the move. Some have supported it. We know of politicians who have also supported it, the likes of Atwoli. They have supported it. The Kakamega governor, Fernandes Baraza, also supported it. So many of these politicians have supported it. To talk about the issue of Cleophas Malala, the SG for UDA, he has supported it. But you see, some of these people who have supported the idea, those are people in Kenya Kwanza who were staring at a scenario where serikali ilikuwa itatupwa mbali. So they see a lifeline here. The fact that CSS have been picked and brought into the government, they find that this is now a lifeline. At least they can now breathe. So what they needed was a way to breathe. So ODM into the Kenya Kwanza government is giving these people a reason to now breathe. So that explains why youths are maintaining that there is no need for dialogue. I believe if you listen to KASMUEL very well, then I think the points he's pushing there are resonating with all the youths who are demonstrating. Someone told me that he is the leader of the GENZs. I don't know whether that's the case, because so far, GENZs have maintained that they are leaderless and formless and tribeless, which is okay, classless. That all of them are equal. But KASMUEL, according to what I've gathered, he seems to have assumed that role of the leader of the GENZs. And he's pushing the agenda of GENZ. To be honest, he's doing his part well. I don't know who's sponsoring him. I won't tell. I don't know. There's Ford Foundation also, just like it has been said. I'm not sure about that. But I think someone could be sponsoring KASMUEL MCOURE. But what he's doing is okay, really. What he's doing, there's nothing wrong with advocating for something that is, is acceptable by many. Because everybody seems to be saying compensate. Everybody seems to be saying the government should adhere to the constitution. Everybody seems to be saying that this issue of appointments should be equally balanced regionally. That's what people are saying. So if KASMUEL agrees with what people are saying, then I think apart from him championing the agenda of the youths, he could be championing the agenda of Kenya. What if you say that is the new Raila Amolo Odinga? Maybe that can be a point. After Babu Wino, KASMUEL appears to be the second person. But you see, the only challenge with having a leader, and I'm not talking about KASMUEL. The only challenge when there's a leader, this leader sometimes ndio huwa anavamiwa na serikali na anapewa pesa, alafu akishapewa pesa, he ends up compromising the cause, you know. If the idea was to bring down the government and he has been paid, the idea fizzles out, and at the end of the day, this person inaonekana kwamba ameuza wenzake. So I think one of the thing I see from KASMUEL ni kwamba he's a bit firm. What if he's awarded a ministerial position, like he's told that, okay, fine, let me give you the Ministry of Youth Affairs. Now he's given that ministry. Do you think KASMUEL will turn down? Personally, I think mtu yote akipewa offer kama hiyo anaweza shindwa kujizuia akachukua. But is that the solution? That if actually a position is created for the youth, just for the youth only the youth, will that solve the problem? That this ministry, the purpose of this ministry to simply champion the agenda of the youth, the Gen Z's ministry for them, will that solve the problem? I think that can be a solution. If RUTO is very clever, he can proceed and form a ministry specifically for the youths, to deal with the youth affairs and the requests and everything. I think that is what is needed. Well, if I were RUTO, that's what I would have done. A ministry specifically for the youths, so that the youth can have a forum for them to speak up. And then this cabinet secretary channels all these grievances at a cabinet. I think that is the best solution, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you. Just go below in the comment section. You can just tell us, what do you think about this matter? I think that is an afterthought. A ministry that is specifically for the youth, specifically for the youth agenda. Only the youths. So that these meetings, the dialogues they can forget about the dialogues, but talk about this agenda at a cabinet session. I think that is the best thing. Ladies and gentlemen, just go below there on the comment section and just tell us whether you support the dialogue or you support a ministry specifically for the youths. A ministry that will be capturing the agenda of the youth across the country and channel this in a meeting during a cabinet sitting. Ain't that going to be a perfect solution for the nation? Just go below in the comment section and you can tell us about your take. So perhaps if you're watching this video, you're not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.